Hello and what's up guys, it is your big guy Daddy Africa and welcome to the first episode of 2022 here on our show My Talk with Daddy Africa. It's such an honor to be back and I'd like to start with saying Happy New Year. And this week's conversation is quite interesting and it's on the New Year's resolution. And as far as we have gone into the year, I see it's quite important for us to bring up that conversation. For those who have not yet started following up on their resolutions and the goals that they're planning to achieve throughout the year, this is the video for you. I have an amazing guest lined up. And with that, let's get into it. So guys, as I had said, we have an amazing guest who has joined us, returning guest I'd say, and I'm really excited for this episode. But before that, I'll let him introduce himself and then we'll dive right into the conversation. So karibu sana.
Asante. First of all, it's quite nice to be back.
Yeah.
After what has been and has felt like years.
Yes.
My name is Mburu Kibathi. I often go by Kibs, or a lot of my friends call me Kibs, and I respond to that as well. I do very many things, but in today's context, I'm seated here wearing the hat of a growth and habit enthusiast. Yeah, and I'm happy to be here. Can't wait to have this discussion again.
Yes. Thank you so much for honoring the invite to come again on this amazing show. With that, we'll jump right into the conversation. And the first question is, do you have New Year's resolutions and do you believe in having New Year's resolutions?
Okay. I think this is interesting because I do not have New Year's resolutions in the traditional sense of the word, or I do not believe in New Year's resolution in the traditional sense of the word.
Yeah.
However, I think through time and through trying different things and trying to figure out what works for me, my approach has evolved to a point where now I'm more focused on trying to develop a plan and systems rather than write down resolutions. But that's not to say that I have always been of contrary thoughts. I have been the type of person to write New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
On a dedicated book, usually a new one.
Yeah.
Every year at the start of the year. But I think right now my approach has changed and I'm more into coming up with plans and trying to develop a system or an environment that assists me in achieving those plans.
I agree with you on that because I saw that when every time people are writing new resolutions every year, what happens to the other ones that you haven't been achieved. So once you set those, if you have those plans in the right manner and those goals in the right manner, you're able to even continue and pursue them, even if it's not a new year, you can still go on with them and then. Because what happens to the rest that happened? You said the previous time. So I agree with you on that. And how do you go about these plans that you have from the traditional mindset of having New Year's resolution? I'll get a new book every year and write what I need to do.
Okay.
So how do you go about that?
I think for me, it started with an audit of what it is that I was writing as my New Year resolutions and my goals, and I noticed that initially or previously I was more focused on the end result. Get to 80 kilos. Don't ask me how many kilos I'm at right now. Maybe eat healthier, exercise more, read 12 books, read say more this year.
Yeah.
You know, all these terminologies sound very familiar
Yeah.
with regards to the way people write the resolutions, and
Yes.
I was that person as well. But right now, I think my approach has been more on process based or process focused. So instead of saying I want to read 12 books in a year, I want to read 30 books in a year, I switched to reading every day.
Yeah.
And I go further and say maybe read for an hour during my commute, or immediately after I wake up at 5-6 a.m. Read for an hour immediately I wake up and get on with my business. And for me now, that's focusing on now the actual process of doing the thing, where that habit of you being a reader is the easiest decision for you to make.
Yeah.
And there are ways that you can hack that behavior. But for me, I believe more in developing a plan, thinking about the process, and thinking about what type of person you want to be for you to achieve those things.
Yes.
And actually trying to be that person. So a person who finishes, say, 12 books in a year, for example, is a person who reads every day. So now for me, the goal is to be a person who reads every day.
Yeah.
If I want to be a fit and healthy person, I need to think about, or maybe fitness and health is part of my resolution. I need to think about what do fit and healthy people do.
Yeah.
Fit and healthy people exercise. Fit and healthy people eat right. Fit and healthy people will cut some things off of their diet.
Yeah.
So now for me, the plan is to do things that allow me to be that type of person.
Yeah.
You know. So if that means clearing out your fridge of all the junk and having cooked food in there, instead, have that done. If it's about you exercising, do you have a time where you exercise?
Yeah.
And when you're exercising, do you know exactly what sort of exercise are you going to do? Are you going to run? Are you going to play soccer? Are you going cycling? Are you going swimming? You know. So if you figure out those things that make you into the type of person you want to be with your resolutions, and you know the things that they do, then it's for you now to plan your time for you to develop those habits, for you to do those things that allow you to be that type of person.
Okay, I get you. So it's more about enjoying and going through the process rather than just looking at the end goal and what you're going to be. It's quite important to look at the end goal as well, but also embrace the whole process of it.
Yes, embracing the process,
Yeah.
trying to be the type of person who does the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
So if you want to run, or you want to run, for example, for fitness, rather than say I will go for a run, I go for running every once in a while, start with the identity. Consider yourself a runner. And what do runners do? Runners go run. And they run every day. And with that in mind, you can build a process or an environment that allows you to be that type of person. And you'll find yourself at the end of the year, you've actually turned into the person you might want to be. And the reason why I don't focus very much on what the end goal is because, for one, circumstances might have you not achieve the goal due to one reason or another. Maybe you wanted to get to 80 kilos, you got to 85. And given the context or given the year, that was the best you could do. then that is not to say that you failed, because you've gone a long way up until you got to that point. Yeah, and the second point with this approach is, what happens if you have already reached your goal way ahead of schedule?
Yeah.
You know, what do you do at that point? Do you stop and say, now that I've achieved it, I'm good? Or do you move the mark? So because of that, I tend to focus more on process. So if I want to be a runner, I start with the mentality. I start in thinking that I am a runner, and what do runners do? Runners run. Then when I go beyond that, I look at, have I mapped out my running path? Have I determined what time it is that I go for running? It needs to be consistent so that it helps you develop that habit. Think about, for your running, what are the things that you may need? You know, running shoes, running kit. Some people want to record their running. You know, those type of things. So, to me, I think my goals and my plans are more process-based than they are outcome-based. And I think that is the approach in which I take with my resolution and with my plans.
Yeah, that's amazing. I like how you've broken down everything and explained it. And the last question on this conversation is through this whole process and making it process-based, do you find yourself ticking more of the boxes of the plans that you have made?
Without factors considered, I'd say yes. I'd say yes, because for me, it starts in my mind. I think about who do I want to be, and how are people who are like that, how do they behave? And for me, it's more of first aligning my behaviors in that manner, and second is aligning my environment to support that achievement. And I'll quote one of Nairobi's set books. Comment down below on what you think the set book is. It says, we do not rise up to the expectations. We do not rise up to the level of our expectations or of our goals, but we fall to the level of our systems or our environment. I like to take care of my environment quite early. For example, where I work, that's my working station. I have everything that I need for my work at my workstation. You know, where I exercise, I have all my exercise gear over there. You know, if I intend on, say, going for a run or a cycle in the morning, more often than not, I will lay out my clothes in such a way that when I wake up, I'll just grab my things, try and ensure that my shoes are already laced up. So I'll just wake up, do my thing, leave, and boom. Part of least resistance. Because if you have an environment where that behavior is not encouraged, for example, I'm planning to do a run in the morning and I have not figured out what I'm going to wear for my run. I will wake up, look for clothes, maybe not see them, and figure out that I can run in the afternoon, I can run tomorrow, etc. And that's how you find yourself not doing that. Another goal that a lot of people have is drinking more water. I always have a water bottle with me by my desk and filled with water. If I do not have a water bottle, I'll have, say, a glass filled, a glass jug filled with water, and a glass for me to drink from.
Yeah.
So it's not conscious for me to drink water, but what I see will prompt that action, that behavior.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if I had a glass jug worth, say, worth 2 liters of water by my desk, and that's done when I leave my desk, I have achieved my goal of drinking 2 liters a day, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the environment is very important. The mindset, so you putting yourself in the mindset of the type of person you might want to be, is also very important. And with those things, decision making become easy. Because the thing with habit is a result of a loop.
Yeah.
You know, you have a cue or a trigger, something that will prompt you into a particular routine.
Yeah.
And at the very end, we have a reward or the result. So, for example, with that water example, I have my jug that's triggered the thought of me drinking water. I have drunk my water and I felt satiated, or my thirst has been quenched just as a result of me preparing my environment to support the type of person I want to be.
Yeah. Those are amazing thoughts and insights on that conversation, and I'm quite sure everyone who's watching this, they've got something and picked on something. And I want to say thank you once again for joining me on this first episode. I'm excited. It has set the bar high for the whole year as we get back on our conversations. And guys, I'll leave down the link to his channel, and I'm hoping to also see your amazing content back again. Yes, the channel is called Life Documented. So the link will be down, and his socials, so you can also engage with him. He's quite open and having conversations. Good conversations and meaningful conversations. I have to emphasize
Very
that.
important.
Yes. Walk slide kwa DM. Oops. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for engaging with us on this amazing episode. I hope to see you next week. Kwaheri, tukutane tena.
Bye, guys.